Ladies and gentlemen, those between and those far out, longtime viewers and newcomers alike, welcome back to the U Idaho Esports Twitch channel. My name is Kaz Phoenix, and welcome back to the Vandal pre-show here at the Vandal Esports Center. Today, I'm joined here by Trevor Humble, previously a platinum Wrecking Ball player in Overwatch 2.
Thanks for that
Um,
nod.
more known as previously a financial aid counselor,
hmm
now a technical product owner.
Technical product owner, no IT. Yep.
Very,
Yeah.
very intimidating title.
Yeah. So I oversee my UI, and I'm gonna kind of take over the opera. I'm gonna take over kind of the institutionalization of AI, right? So if financial aid or HR or someone on campus needs an AI solution, I'll help take like those rough concepts and experiments and try to make them useful for them.
Well, that's super interesting. It's a very technologically focused, which I believe that a lot of your
Mm.
position here at the university has been based around. But I don't want to steal all of your thunder, as I like to say. I will more formally hand the talking stick over to you, allow you to more formally introduce yourself to our audience, and talk about anything else that they might want to know about you.
Yeah, so I'm Trevor Humble. I grew up in Moscow, longtime resident here. Did everything I could to get out. Moved to China, Australia, Spain. I had jobs in all those places. Lima, I bartended in Lima even for a few little bit. Just traveled around, and I kind of always got pulled back here. I mean, the truth of it is, like when you grow up here, it's a boring little town, but eventually you start to realize that there's a lot of special things about it, and a lot of special people, and a lot of really talented, interesting people to be around. I was living and working in China during COVID. Ended up having to come back. Got a job in financial aid, and over kind of last 4 or 5 years, I've just kind of moved up and moved into the technical sphere. First through financial aid, working on their technical solutions, and then during that time, I've been working on kind of a second degree and then master's in virtual technology design,
Hmm.
animation, video game design, that sort of stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
that's super interesting. I like the special interest in more animation and game design and stuff like that. As you haven't actually had like a lot of work experience. You did take some internships I saw in
Mhm.
2022 on 3D texture related stuff, and I was curious just to start off our very long conversation that we're gonna have during the show about how originally you got into game design, and then what led you to actually getting those internships back in 2022.
I think actually just like coming back to Moscow and end up working in Moscow, my hometown, I was feeling like a little like, oh, this is so boring. I need something to spice it up. So I started taking these classes. Uh, and it was just kind of like all around 3D design, game design, animation, anything that kind of like virtual space. And I just really fell in love with it. Like it's just very fun. I loved what the artists were doing. I mean, some of the most talented artists in the world. Like I think like if you want to go find the masters today, people are like, oh, there's no more masters. There's no Rembrandts.
Hmm.
Like the people working at Pixar and Disney, like they understand reality and light and how it exists and why it exists. I mean, down to like how debris, kind of like is up against a building or something like that. They just have such like a comprehensive understanding of just like the world we live in, uh, that I just got instantly pulled in. So I started just bugging people, asking if I could intern. The one I did for texturing, it was for one of Mojang's partners.
4KS, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
4KS Studios. Yeah.
They used to. I don't know if it's 4KS or 4J, but I believe they
hmm
work on some of the console ports that weren't directly related to Mojang. That would have been like the
Yeah.
360 port. Maybe if I'm remembering that correctly. Um, I think they also worked on the PS3 port, just the game consoles that didn't have like the active internet connection before Minecraft, or Minecraft was basically bought out by Microsoft and became this whole new thing, I guess.
Yeah. And like largely, now they sell things in the store. At least that's what they were doing when I was there,
Mhm.
um, as official partners, which is a very closed garden. No one can just sell things, and in the Minecraft store to get into that space is almost impossible. But he was just getting into it and getting big at the right time. That when they were opening and closing that garden,
Mm.
he just got into it, and I did it for I think like 3 months, and I learned a ton. Uh, and honestly, like texturing Minecraft textures for skins, you're thinking in a constraint that's so tight, you have to every pixel counts,
Mm.
right? So like the art at that level, you're being so deliberate. You're thinking about how color influences light and your perception of light, and just every single pixel, you're just like taking a thought. And as far as like I have taken so many lessons from that time there. Uh, it has had a huge influence on how I think about light, and how I think about kind of the conservation of pixels and stylization, and just an overall really good experience. And several U of I students have worked there.
Really?
Yeah, Peyton Finney, who now works for Meat Canyon, the YouTube channel, he worked for them for a number of years. So yeah,
Oh, well, alumni shout outs. That's
yeah.
super awesome. You are alumni yourself, Trevor, having
Mhm.
obviously grown up here and um, did your original undergrad, came back, started your master's, um, which I believe was something related to business that is not on my
Mhm.
brain right
Chinese,
now.
Chinese modern language business.
Modern language
Yeah.
business with your concentration in Chinese because
Yes.
you needed to take a language as part of your degree. Why Chinese?
I mean, at that point, I was already pretty well traveled and just knew that I loved to travel. And I'm starting college. I came back to Moscow after my dad died. I was like settling his estate, and it took a number of years. It was a complicated process, and so like, well, I should go back to school.
Mm,
Like 25 at the time. But what I really wanted to be doing was what I was doing before, which was just like traveling around, getting jobs in weird places, doing construction in Australia.
mm,
And I was studying abroad, or I wanted to study abroad. And at the time, like the U.S. government was giving you money to study in China, the Chinese government was giving you money to study in China. So I studied abroad twice, totally free both times. In fact, the second time I made a bunch of money because I
oh.
was getting so much money to go. Like I went over there and just traveled a bunch. It was like really incredible experience in China. Really challenged me as someone who was like younger and traveling and enjoyed travel and was having a good time and partying and doing all of that. Like China came and it was like, no, this isn't going to be easy. Like everything
Mm,
before that traveling had been easy, and it was just like nothing was set up for foreigners in China. Everything, like from ordering food, finding a bathroom, like everything was a challenge, and it just really challenged me to learn the language and learn about the culture. And the reality of it is, China, like our own country, is, and even more so, right, is such a big idea and a big place and has such a big history that you really can't really fully grasp it. But
mm.
still, just like getting those little bits and pieces and understanding it a tiny bit better here and there was a really rewarding experience.
Well, it definitely seems like that. I am also like taking Japanese right now,
Very
and
cool.
I have aspirations to study abroad. I don't know if I'm ever going to follow up on those, but I'd like to go back to Japan at some point. It's a very beautiful place, and I definitely feel like traveling internationally is super important to kind of enriching your human experience and just seeing the world from different perspectives that you wouldn't have otherwise. I'm sure you know a little bit about that, having being well
Mhm.
traveled internationally yourself. But now you're back in the U.S.
Yeah.
You're back in Moscow, where it all began for Mr. Humble here. What do you think fully kind of like confirmed your decisions? Like, I want to be back here. I want to stay here, uh, and kind of just continue working on things that make me happy.
I mean, a number of things. I mean, first of all, there's just a lot of people I love and care about here, right? So that's easy. My career kind of took off here. I've had just Moscow's just a very friendly place, and I've just had like a lot of really good people advocate for me and advocate for my career. So uh, there just was like more and more reasons to stay career wise. And University of Idaho is like a really easy place to have a career if you feel really good about what you're doing, right? Helping students. There's uh, just yeah, kind of supporting that mission. And then yeah, getting involved with master's degree, and I always wanted to be an artist growing up, so like just getting to use my education benefit to study for free and study art. There was none of that pressure like I need to study Chinese and business because that's like what everyone's telling me that
Mhm.
you have to learn Chinese and you have to be a business person, right? I'm just like more feeding my soul. Like, what do I really want to learn about? What do I really care about?
Well, that's truly beautiful. You gave a great answer. We're almost about done with the segment,
Hmm.
and this is really short amount of time for me to bring this up, but I'm going to anyway. Um, Trevor, you are not a stranger to the esports program.
Oh,
You were involved with it for a brief amount of time. You were the Overwatch coach for like a very previous
hmm,
iteration of the team, as well as the biking coach
yeah.
for the first physical years biking competition with this online biking game that we had between Boise and the University of Idaho. Um, and you were talking to me a little bit before the show about just like how different everything looks since the last time that you were here. Um, any I guess elaborations on that, and I guess maybe why you would encourage students to come out and see the space.
Um, this was always like there was always like a really wonderful vision behind it, and I could clearly see the vision you guys had. But just like not being here in 6 or 7 or 8 months and then coming here, I wasn't prepared for the speed at which that vision was executed.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, always really cool space, always a ton of computers, always a ton of students coming around, a lot of excitement, just cool championships, watching that stuff happen down here. Um, but coming down here, I'm like, oh, this is an actual like esports arena with like a, I feel like I'm on a morning show right here. Like this is awesome. uh, so it's just transformed into something so polished, and it's so much fun to see that, and it's such a fun space too. Uh, yeah, really is really cool seeing you guys just kind of like explode overnight.
Well, it definitely feels like that. You know, Wayne is a very ambitious man, and his ambition has taken this program very far, which has been beneficial for all of us. You know, but
Definitely.
Trevor, thank you for joining me on the show today. It was a pleasure to have you. Always a pleasure to talk to you. I say
Same.
hi to you literally every time I see you
Yeah.
on campus. As a thank you for joining me on the show, I would like to offer you this a
Thank
jersey
you.
for the 2025-2026 year. Uh, Officially admit you as an honorary member of the esports program, even though you kind of were like one of the first, right?
Yeah.
It was always a pleasure to talk. I'm glad that you got to see the space again, be on the show. But from the Vandal Pre-Show, that is going to be it from us for tonight. I'm going to be moving it, okay, moving it over to our caster room, who is going to get you started on the action for tonight. Our Marble Rivals varsity team is going to be playing Wilson College. Sure to be a fun time. I'd hate for you to miss it, and I hope you guys don't miss us too much. This is Cass Phoenix and Trevor Humble from the Vandal Analyst Corner signing out, wishing you a good night, and enjoy the game. Ease up, everybody.